If I have a black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards because the school or the certifying board was so anxious to say we have a black female surgeon.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is a video of a popular journalist, reporter, I know that Carlson something. Honestly, I don't care about his name, but yeah, let's talk. He was an interview and he was talking about how if he walks into an hospital and find out that the surgeon is a black female surgeon, he usually asks himself that how did she get there? She probably got there through inclusivity, like through the DEI program. I know that probably she's not qualified and that was how she got in there. And this has struck the entire conversation of how black women are being underrated, how black women are being disrespected, and how black women are being seen like they are not qualified to be in a space, even though they put in even 10 times more work than any demographic, yet people still downplay their sources and how they are able to walk through that door and sit down in that same table with their other counterpart. So this entire conversation for me, I find it really very important and essential because as black women, we all know like anywhere you go to, especially if the place is not a place that has a lot of black people, especially black women there, you're being stared at, you're being looked at like, what are you doing here? So let's go check out this video that's gotten everybody talking and then people's response. Shout out to my girl Frankie from TikTok. She read this man to filth. Like, you guys need to hear our own response. She read it to filth. So yeah, let's go check out this video and then we'll come back and talk more.
If I have a black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards because the school or the certifying board was so anxious to say we have a black female surgeon. And of course it's unfair to the individual, but then the whole system is unfair. So should you be shocked that it produces unfair results? No. I mean, it's unfair.
It is unfair, down on the face of it and in practice and every other possible way.
Yes. A black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards.
Tell me that you're stupid without telling me that you're stupid. They had to meet what lower standards? What are you talking about? You know absolutely nothing. And you think that all black people are not intelligent.
Exactly.
If she wasn't that intelligent, would she have passed medical school? Would she have passed her practical training to perform surgery on patients? The answer for that is no. Why don't you check your own level of intelligence before you come for someone?
Black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards.
Remember the old days when Republicans used to say, "I don't see race," and we knew that they were lying? They're not even saying they don't see it anymore. They're saying they don't want to see it. They're saying they don't want to see people of color doing anything. If they have a job, then it's DEI. But if they don't have a job, then they're lazy, unemployed, and mooching off the system. If you are not white, then white Republicans, especially rich white Republicans, probably don't like you. It really is that simple.
If I have a black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards.
I'm Dr. Turner, a black female surgeon in training, which I think makes me a little bit qualified to talk about this. First of all, medical school is not a participation trophy. It is actually quite literally survival of the fittest. Just because you get into med school does not mean you will finish med school. Every student, regardless of your race and your gender, is graded the same. So say, hey, maybe you do have a connection to get yourself into med school. Does that mean you'll finish? Does that mean you'll graduate with honors? Does that mean you'll get the residency you want? No. Our exams, our clinical evaluations, our board certifications are all standardized, meaning that The bar is not being lowered for anybody, especially Black women. If you don't pass, you don't move forward, and it's as simple as that. Let's take board exams, for example, the USMLE or the COMLEX. These are national exams where every single test taker is held to the same standard. There is no adjustment. It doesn't matter if you fail by 1 point if you're white. It doesn't matter if you fail by 1 point if you're Black. If you don't pass, and you don't move forward. Black women make up less than 2% of all physicians in the US, and an even smaller percentage are surgeons. Not because we aren't qualified, but because of systemic barriers that make it harder for us to enter and advance into medicine. To even get to an even playing field, we always have to outperform. And once we're in, we train under the same rigorous standards as anybody else. To assume and say to millions of people that you assume anytime you see a Black female surgeon that the standards were lowered for her is such an incredibly dangerous rhetoric and an ignorant statement. So let's be clear. Every Black physician got here despite the system and not because it showed us any favors. And we will continue to do so.
Go, girl.
A Black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards because the school or the certifying board was so anxious to say we have a Black female.
So I think we all are aware that Tucker Carlson is a raging racist. And the idea that you would see a Black female doctor and automatically your brain would say, oh, they had to lower the standards for her to get in here is crazy. I want someone to name one system, one company, just anything in America that they have said, you know what, we're going to make it easier for Black people. The only thing they've ever made it easier for Black people to get into is prison. That is it. That is quite literally the only thing in this country they have made it easier for Black people to get into and never get out of. They went on to say some more things, so I'm going to add that clip right here.
You're counting on, as a patient, reason. You want a fact-based, logical physician, or else you could die. And so anyone who accepts clearly illogical, unreasonable suppositions and doesn't push back against them is basically involved in witchcraft. Right? So if I can say to you something that is provably untrue and just on its face stupid, which is, you know, a Black female patient needs a Black female doctor, it's like, what are you even saying? Show me the evidence. There is no evidence. It's crazy on its face. It's Nazi stuff. If you go along with that, then you've disqualified yourself because you're not a rational person. You're a witchcraft practitioner. So that just freaking...
So when I was pregnant with my first daughter, I had horrible hip pain. When I say horrible, to the point I could not walk. I could not walk. My ex-husband had to leave work early to come home to get me out of the bed to carry me to the bathroom. I went to my white old doctor and told him, I am in so much pain, I cannot walk. He said, you need to keep moving. He refused to put me on bed rest. I used every single leave day I had. When I went into labor, I was in the hole. So some days I could walk and some days I couldn't. So on the days I couldn't walk, I had to use my leave days because the command I was at, they weren't going to just let me stay home without documentation from my doctor. And my doctor refused to put me on bed rest, even though I could not walk. To the point where now my daughter is 5 years old and I still, matter of fact, I'm feeling hip pain right now as I'm talking to you. There are some days right now, 5 years later, that I cannot walk, that I have issues walking. I've been to physical therapy and everything. And this is something, so also, I know Black women who have had a C-section, and after a C-section, they've gotten Tylenol, like over-the-counter Tylenol for a surgery, because they do not believe that Black women feel pain the same way that our white female counterparts. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to insert a clip.
Black people feel pain the same way as white people. A 2016 study showed that 50% of medical students and residents who were studied thought that Black people couldn't feel pain the same way because they had thicker skin or their nerves didn't work the same way. Where is this from? It's a holdover from the days of slavery when white people had to feel better about using slaves. Black people used to be operated on without anesthesia and were used in studies without their consent, so this was a convenient lie. To this day, Black people are less likely to get the same treatment in terms of pain medication. They're more likely to wait longer in the emergency room. They're less likely to be taken seriously. It's a holdover from the days of slavery. And in my field, this plays a huge role in the Black maternal and morbidity crisis. The call to action. Doctors.
And mind you, this study is from 2016. 2016. So in 2016, 50% of doctors do not believe that Black people feel pain. And now the person, RFK, who has been appointed, whatever of hell fuck his job is, he thinks that, once again, Black people should not be on the same vaccine schedules because our immune systems are different. the older generation of white men have created a systemic problem for black women. So yes, I want a black woman in that room with me. Someone who understands that no, my pain tolerance is not higher than white women. A lot of people have been misdiagnosed because medication, surgeries, a lot of things have been based on white men. So that's why a lot of times we get misdiagnosed. Our medication dosage takes forever to get regulated because the dosage is not made for us. And, you know, I hate to put the blame on a woman. And this is why I have such a disdain for people like Candace Owens who sit in these spaces with these people like Tucker Carlson, and they become these mouthpieces because she herself has sat on Fox or whatever their little thing is and said, if I see a black pilot, I'm automatically going to assume that they lower the standards for him to get here. Am I going to be safe? Because why would you as a black woman automatically assume that about a black person? We all know she's a grifter and she's going to do whatever it takes for the money. But if I see a black woman in a prestigious place, I know she works so hard to be there. I know she had every odd stacked against her. You mean to tell me you really think these older white men who have been raised in racism with racist parents, who some of them are old enough to be alive during segregation, who don't see black people as humans, is going to see a black woman and say, you know what? Let me make it easier on her. When you take your exams, is there a test that they give to black people and there a test that they give to white people? I'm sure there is a criteria to pass. Do they lower the criteria? And this is the thing that irritates me so much about these people. It's the way in which they lie so easily. So easily the lies just roll off of their tongue consistently, and it is so exhausting. It is so exhausting. Serena Williams have come out and talk about how she almost died after giving birth. The mortality rate for black women is insane. And even when you have money, it means nothing if you are black. Because they didn't believe her when she said what she was saying about what she was dealing with. And in 2025, it's still a fucking problem. Anybody that even, and it's just really irritating for people who of color. It starts to make you even question your, like, I mean, not me, because if anywhere I'm at, I deserved it. Actually, I should have got it a long time ago. But it's just such a slap in the fucking face. But this is America.
I have a black female surgeon. My first assumption will be this person had to meet low.
Let's talk about something real for a second. When people assume that a black woman in a high-level job like a surgeon or even OBGYN only got there because of lower standards, what they're saying is she couldn't have possibly earned it. It took me 11 OBGYNs to finally get diagnosed with PCOS, endometriosis, and adenomyosis. 11 doctors. 11 times I was told, it's just abnormal bleeding, lose the weight, you'll be fine. And guess what? The 11th doctor who finally diagnosed me is a black woman. She told me that if the other doctors had known what they were doing, I could have been diagnosed years earlier. I'm talking almost 10 years earlier. And I may have been able to save my fertility. So when people tell me that black women only got there because of lower standards in the medical field, tell me why the first 10 doctors that failed me were white women. White women with the same degrees. And why was my black doctor the only doctor able to do her job? Instead of assuming someone doesn't deserve their spot, maybe ask yourself why you're so uncomfortable with them having it. Merit isn't just for one type of person, and stop acting like it is.
a black female surgeon, my first assumption will be this person had to meet lower standards because the school or the certifying board was so anxious to say we have a black female surgeon. And of course, it's unfair to the individual, but then the whole system is unfair. So should you be shocked that it produces unfair results? No. I mean, it's unfair.
It is unfair. Down on the
Hey Google, is it easier for black women to become surgeons? No, it is not easier for black females to become surgeons. In fact, due to systemic barriers related to race and gender, it is significantly harder for black women to become surgeons compared to other demographics, as they are significantly underrepresented in the field and face additional challenges in attaining leadership positions within surgery. Underrepresentation. Black women make up a very small percentage of surgeons compared to other racial and gender groups. Bias and discrimination. They often face racial and gender bias throughout their medical training and surgical career, impacting promotion opportunities and leadership roles. Intersectionality. Let me move out the way so y'all can read the rest of that. But you get the point. So, your ass, Carlson Daly or whatever your name is, you're a lie and a cheat and a scam. Just like a clear man in America sitting up here talking about, oh, you don't trust, oh, it's easier. They didn't have to. We have it harder. Harder. Which means that we are more qualified than your mediocre ass could ever be. What y'all think about this? Do black female surgeons, they're underqualified? They're not going to do a good job because they had it easier? So do black women get a different test? Do they have a different curriculum than everybody else? I'm just trying, is it like just completely different? Anyway, spread love. All of my women in the medical field, are your tests different from your, do you have to study a different, is it like different? Let me know. Because this is some bullshit. If anything, it's harder to become a surgeon as one of me, as one of us.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. So like, I feel like I honestly at this point, I'm just like, okay. The fact, and this is where like I've always said this repeatedly here on this channel, talking about how as black women we are the most disrespected, underrated demographic so far in the world. The fact that this man, a renowned journalist, sat down there and is talking about how if he sees a black surgeon, then that just said it all. And as a black woman, when you move around and you move into spaces that usually they are not black women, you get that look. Because a lot of the time, even though we have every other thing stacked against us, we still go on and strive and do amazing things with ourselves, our life, our career. Our other counterparts cannot fathom that we could do it despite all the odds against us. In fact, they don't even think that we can even be in that room. Like the fact that you're even in that room, they're staring at you, they're looking at you. I know I've told you guys this story a couple of times of how I went to a restaurant in Lebanon and literally they thought I was a prostitute because I was a black woman there, because they feel like there's no way she can afford it. There's no way she can afford it. A man has to bring it, because they keep asking me, are you alone? Are you alone? Where are you from? Like they could not fathom it. And this is something that has repeatedly happened over and over again. And that's because every other person that is not black can no phantom that a black woman can be a surgeon. A black woman can take the test, go to medical school, graduate, and be a surgeon. Because most of the time, they want to downplay our success. They want us to feel like, oh, they gave it to you because of DEI and all that. When in reality, a black woman that is in any position, that is in any position, work 10 times harder than any other counterpart of us. Any. Even as a content creator, as a black woman, you have to work 10 times harder. If you're a content creator, you know what I'm talking about. I'm saying it generally because it doesn't make sense, and that's my like. This is what they want to make us. They want to downplay our sources and say, oh, they allow us it because they want to do inclusivity. No, we work ourselves out there. We work our ass out there to get to be able to sit down in any table. A white content creator will come here and do the, I'm not saying they don't have the ones that work their ass off, but they will do the least, the bare minimum, and their content will be pushed out. But you as the black content creator, try that same thing and see. Have we thought about how there's this thing that usually happen, and when I see it, I usually roll my eyes and like, oh no. You see a white person doing the Afro beat dance or an Afro music dance, and you see they will have thousands of views. You see a black person doing even the tango dance. People don't say that, okay. They move on. Have we asked ourselves why? Whether we like it or not, whether we want to accept it or not, whether we want to be in a Dudulu land or not, is that there's an hierarchy to this world, and there's a certain way they see certain people. We as black people in the black community were being seen yet, but especially as a black woman, we are seen way less than any group of people. And this is why, like, when I see black women come at each other, I'm just like, we should not even be doing that. The rest of the world is already on top of us, against us. Why are we even coming at each other? This is why, for me, it's very important as a black woman to support every black. Pull out the support. Do it. It doesn't take away from you, from your own success, your own achievement. No. Because whether you like it or not, you know how hard it is for you to get where you are today. Just imagine what the ones behind are doing. It's even harder for them right now. So please, as black women, I just even don't want to even acknowledge what he said because it doesn't make sense. And shout out to Frankie. Frankie like read him to felt. So this is why, like, as black women, I just want to encourage us to keep on supporting one another, to keep on being there for one another. And it's hard for us, and it is what it is, but we can make it better if we keep on having conversation like this, if we keep on supporting each other, we keep on doing things with each other, building amazing community. Like, that's what we need, honestly. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section, share your thought. Love to know what you think about this conversation. This, like, I really don't care about him, honestly. Go on and share your thoughts. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.